Happy Pride, SoCal Filipinos. Thank you so much for joining us for our Pride panel. I have the honor of introducing our host and moderator today, Alison De La Cruz. She is a content creator, producer, facilitator, artist, contemporary ritualist, cultural space instigator, gatherer, practitioner, and host. Please welcome Alison De La Cruz.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Alison. How are you? Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, Jason. So great to be here. Thank you so much for welcoming back to the SoCal Filipinos space.
No, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm going to go ahead and let you take away the show.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. What's up, everybody? Got my little Malong and Bunny in the background. I'm a queer Filipinx person with some blue-black hair. I'm wearing my rainbow ice cream shirt, just to give a visual description. And I'm honored to say that I'm calling in from the unceded lands of the Tongva and the Quiche people here in Southern California, aka Carson, California. So welcome. Happy Pride, everybody. I hope you've been safe. I hope you've been taking self-care and trying to find ways to celebrate, honor, and amplify the queerness that is within you. We have an amazing panel today. Super excited to introduce you to some folks so that we can get this conversation started. I want to say hello and welcome to Carla Ibarra. What's up, Carla? Hello.
Hello. Happy Pride, everyone.
Yes, yes. And while you're here on screen, I just want to read your bio really quick so folks know who you are as we get into our convo. Carla is an active LGBTQ plus rights activist and a proud transgender Filipina. Carla immigrated to the U.S. in 2018 and is happily married to her husband for 4 years. Sorry, I'm adding an extra year, 3 years. She is currently serving as the Workforce Development Program Manager of the Dedicated Transgender Health Program at St. John Wells Child and Family Center in Los Angeles. Welcome, Carla.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, so I'm just going to give you a quick fire question as our first. Do you have a favorite color in the Pride rainbow?
Yes, I do.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color would be red.
Thank you, red.
Aside from it's my actual personal favorite color, like most of my wardrobe, it's color red. I think it signifies power, that as a community, we have that power, we have that passion, to keep moving forward and to fight for, every LGBTQI folks here, not only here in the US, but also around the world. So
That's for real. That's for real. Welcome, Carla. Thank you for sharing the power of the color red with us. And we'll bring you back in just a second once we're all assembled. Awesome. So that's Carla. Carla's going to come back. She's going to talk with us. I also want to welcome Francis Aquino. Francis, are you here? Hello, hello. Hi, Francis.
Yes. Hello. Hi.
Welcome. I want to read your bio so folks know who you are when we talk. My same question to you, favorite color in the Pride rainbow, but let me read your bio. Francis Aquino is a proud member of the LGBTQ community. He used to be the president of Barangay, an LGBT Filipino organization of LA. He is leading the workplace experience initiatives of Netflix in their soon-to-open campus in Hollywood, and he lives in LA with his husband and 4-year-old son. Welcome, Francis.
Thank you so much, Alison. I've been watching your career and watching all your initiatives for such a long time, even during the Barangay Day. So I'm so happy that I'm joining this panel hosted by you. Yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you so much. Yes, I was like, I still have one of my Barangay shirts that I just love. It's the visible invisible shirt. Yeah, I was like, don't throw that one away. So I remember the Barangay days well. My fun question to you this morning: do you have a favorite color in our Pride rainbow?
I do. I know that Carla chose red, but I was rushing to choose another color, but I'd like to stick with my original choice, which is red as well. Carla's right. It signifies passion. It signifies power. And being LGBT Filipino is just a combination of not a lot of people know that, but with our passion and the power, we can go places and we can really move mountains. So I'm sticking to red.
Amazing. I'm not mad. It gives us a little sample of what's going to happen on our panel, and there's some already some red. There's some power conversations happening. Super excited about that. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning, Francis. We're going to come back to you in just a second. And last but certainly not least, I want to welcome our third panelist, Madonna Refugia. Madonna, are you around? Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, so you also get to marinate on the question that Carla just got off the pop. But let me read your bio so folks know who you are. Madonna got her start writing jokes for drag queens in Philly. What's up, Philly? And now lives in Los Angeles, right? Where they write about mental illness, addiction, and being queer in the Filipinx American community. A self-proclaimed recovered comedian. I honor your recovery. Madonna's work has been featured on Reductress, WFMU, and Elite Daily. Welcome, Madonna. So great.
Thank you. Thank you, Allison. It's such a pleasure to be here, surrounded by just like queer brown folks. Like, I love it. There's so much love in this room right now, for sure.
Most definitely. I'm gonna go to you on the pop-up question of the morning. Favorite color in the Pride rainbow?
I don't know. Can you guess?
I might guess a little.
I love purple because it represents two different colors on two different sides of the spectrum put together, and that to me is kind of what queerness means to me. And so yeah, I love purple.
Amazing. Welcome, purple. Before you go, I think I'm gonna acknowledge I'm more of a blue. So I feel like I could take the red hotness of the red and be the blue that helps bring the colors together.
You're gonna cool it down.
Cool it down. Yes, very ocean, very sky. So yes. And I appreciate the purple is the red and blue together. So I think we're gonna have a great panel this morning. Thank you so much. Welcome, Madonna. And I just want to welcome back all of our panelists. Let's do a transition. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Yes. Thank you so much. I want to love on our tech, Jason, who's helping us assemble this StreamYard room. Good job, Jay. So welcome, everybody. I know we've been talking Happy Pride. I wanted to kind of start in the prep convo we had the other night. I was kind of thinking about and sharing, like, my opening question is just to think about your journey, right? We celebrate Pride. I honor that Black and brown trans women are part of the reason we celebrate Pride because of what happened in New York on Christopher Street. And so we come to this time of year as a celebration, as a rebellion, as a revolution to remind us that all of our queer selves get to be present. And I wanted to invite you to think about if we could just share, is there one thing, like I was thinking about, like, when I was a young person and I was being like teased and bullied by people who were my friends because I was like too tall, too big, a little wonky butchy, like not quite sure, And I think about at that time and just how I didn't know that people like me, that like buchas or masculine of center or like gender nonconforming women, like I didn't know that was existed. So I wonder, like, what was something that you wish you knew as a young person? Knowing who you are now, like, what do you wish you could have told younger you? You can decide however you're old is the younger you. But like, what's something you wish? I know I'm not like deep questions at like start of the panel. It's like, I want to go deep right away. Because I also feel like often it's like, sometimes I feel like corporate pride wants me to forget why we're here. Mm-hmm. That we're here not just to like have a convo and talk about how we feel about ourselves, but to honestly talk about survival, to honestly talk about how do we not only like have pride, but how do we help ourselves take up space? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my next warm-up question after all the color of the rainbow is, what's one thing you wish you could have told your younger self about either the world and your queerness or just who you would become and like how to, like, I'm really curious about what we could give to young people. Like, what is part of that wisdom that I know like elders passed on to me,
Yeah.
So I'm supporting this was not on the prep question sheet. I'm just pulling magical questions.
Should I start
Oh, yeah.
answering your
Go ahead,
question,
Carla.
Allison?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
With me personally, and this is a very personal question, very close to my heart. If I could say one thing to my younger self, I would tell her that you are perfectly valid, that you are authentic, and that you deserve all the respect and the love in the world, and that no one can take that away from you, that pride that you have inside. Because just to give you a brief background, growing up in the Philippines, I was born in, I would say, a pretty conservative Christian family, and all the relatives. We're a big family, including the aunts and the uncles, the cousins. You know how Filipino families are. So we're big, and I would always be picked on because I was more on the effeminate side, and I used to be so angry at myself because why can't I change it? Why can't I just act like, a normal little boy who would play with the rest of the other guys? Yeah, and then growing up, I always felt the need when I was in school, I was achieving. I was academically, excelling in school. Not because I was a smart kid, but because I felt the need to validate my difference to my family and to other people. So if I could go back in time, um, 10, 15 years ago, I would definitely tell myself that you are valid. And no matter what, regardless if you are an achiever or not, you are valid. Thank you.
Thank you. You are valid. I'm a poet who likes to write down as people talk. So if you see me kind of writing, and this is for everybody, like I'm feeling moved. I'm like, these are things I want to remember. Francis or Madonna, same question to you. And as you talk, I'm just going to be transparent. Speaking of red power, I forgot to plug in my computer. And if I don't do that, I might end up not on this stream. So but I acknowledge that I have to pop up and plug this in. But Francis, maybe can I ask you to go next? Like, what do you want to tell your younger self?
I want to tell my younger self that you are going to do great things to represent not only you as a Filipino, but you representing you as an LGBT Filipino. Just like at Carla, I grew up being bullied and being teased. I went to an all-boy exclusive school for boys, exclusive Catholic school for boys. So early on, I was effeminate. I would be the neatest, like cleanest, kid with his white polo shirt, always going to be clean and well pressed. I always liked it that way. And all the boys would be teasing me, and I used that as a strength, as to like really lift myself up, just like how Carla is. She used that in order for her to excel in academics. I used it to like really boost up my confidence. The entire high school, 4 years of high school, I was in student government. And every single time my name is announced at the General Assembly of like 3,000 people, it would be a chorus of like, Francis Aquino, come up on stage, and everyone would be like, hi! So it was like really not just a group of people, not just like, a bunch of like, high school kids hanging out in the corner. It would be the General Assembly knowing that I'm effeminate, I'm gay, and, here's the bakla who's like trying to be on stage. But yeah, at the end of the day, I became, the president of the student council. They knew that I was, leading everyone for the betterment of their lives in high school. And up to now, even I just recently got into Netflix. And the first thing that I did was, is there an employee resource group for Filipinos? Is there an employee resource group for LGBT Filipinos? I mean, let's get it on. Let's like uplift the image of LGBT Filipinos at Netflix and have a global stage to showcase how great we are.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, like I definitely resonated. Assemblies. Yeah, I feel you. And how powerful, just I'm hearing
Yes.
your story and Carla's story is like the resilience I think that I'm hearing is just really, really wonderful and powerful. I want to transition to you, Madonna, offer you a space. You tell me about what would you tell younger you in all the fabulosity that you are right now?
Well, I think I would sit my younger self down and give her a juice box and say, sweetie, you're queer and it's okay. You are queer. Just you realize you collect your mother's Victoria's Secret catalog because you like looking at the women in them. So I would just be very comforting and just be very, very I don't know, I think I would just want to give her a big hug and just say, like, this is an actual okay thing to be. And being attracted to all genders is something natural and it happens. And you're beautiful. I mean, not to go all Christina Aguilera, but you're beautiful.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I didn't really, I wasn't really, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. I've been listening to your stories and how I identify so much with feeling so disrespected and unseen. And yeah, I unfortunately I grew up in a town that was very white, and so before I could even come to terms with my queerness, I had to come to terms with my brownness. And so pride to me means celebrating being Filipinx and being queer all together, not just being queer. Because I think it goes hand in hand. So yeah, I feel very honored to be here today. Again, just loving the vibes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm snapping on that too, Francis. Like, I think sometimes it's easy for me as somebody who's been out for a long time to remember that struggle, but to, like, I have a different set of struggles now as a person living my life. And I realized how hard I worked in my 20s to make a space in myself first, and then in my world, so that I could really be who I knew I was. And so, I appreciate Madonna, like, yeah, the Victoria's Secret catalogs. My dad recently passed away. I'm gonna spill a little bit of tea. And in the cleaning out, we found a stack of old Playboys, and I was like, yeah, that's actually, I had found those as a young person. So, and I remember not understanding why I was so fascinated with the articles.
The article.
Because I really believed the hype at first. I was like, why are these articles so good? You know what I mean? And I was like, the articles are okay. So I started to understand, like, it wasn't about the articles. It was about kind of, as you opened it up, Madonna, like, it was about desire. So I just want to honor, like, on this panel, we bring a lot of different kinds of experiences connected to our queerness, our identity, our gender expression, our desire spectrums. And I just want to honor that. And I feel like I also acknowledge, like, on our panel, we don't have anybody who's mixed Filipino and Black. And so or mixed Filipino Indigenous or mixed Filipino, so I just honor, like, the breadth of what queer Filipino-ness is and how we are representing a beautiful swath of it. And I just make space for folks who are watching us who might have even more parts of their identities mixed in that we are, like, to me, it's like the rainbow question is vital because I see Filipinos in this rainbow way. I have always experienced it that way. Like, from the rainbow of our tongues and, like, how many dialects we speak to, like, the need for feeling connected. And like, so I just want to honor. So just let's take a second, just breathe all that in. Like, come on, resiliency, come on, community, come on, spectrum.
Yes.
So just go ahead, take a breath in and exhale. Yes. So, as I'm hearing you all talk, I'm like, so we've talked a little bit about what we would have hoped somebody would have said to us, to our little selves. But I do want to talk about but there were probably people along the way or places along the way that started to validate. Like Francis, you started to talk about, yes, they laughed at you, but you got elected. You were able to do the business, right? And Carla and Madonna, these experiences shaped you into becoming the person that you are today. And so, I want to offer and ask, as you started to be comfortable with yourself, is there somebody in your path that you want to that comes to mind in terms of giving you a visibility that made it feel like, oh, it's okay to be me, or was literally hey, the direction you're going, Madonna, see you, queer you, get it. Carla, did you find community with other trans women in the Philippines? Is it more here? So it's kind of an open question, but the new question is who's been an ally or who has been a supporter who also connected for you to help make this journey special or important, or not even special, but just the mundane that also, so wide open option for answers. I'm going to change up order and say, Francis, can I have you go first? We'll just go Francis, Madonna, Carla, transparent facilitation. I support all the modalities.
Yeah, thanks.
So Francis.
It was. Hello. There you go. Yeah, I consider that as a tough question because growing up in the Philippines, it was tough to find a role model. And sad to say, it really was tough to see a role model. I know I'm jumping into a very controversial topic, which is in the media. Being part of LGBT, being bakla, is the gays in the salons who are extremely flamboyant, extremely clown makeup, which is not really a good representation of who our stylist friends that are in the industry. And then in the movies, it's the sidekick, the funny sidekick who's being pushed around and with front teeth missing and with really heavy makeup. So it was hard for me to find an ally or a role model to look up to. I was just really lucky that my parents are really religious, but I think they're so open. Because if I wanted to dress this way, if I wanted to buy gallons of gel because I'm the only kid with really styled hair, or when my mom caught me wearing her Sunday dress or heels, it felt like she was turning a blind eye and not really no, that's not good, that's bad, don't do that, play with GI Joes. And I had a younger brother, and he's playing with trucks, and I'm playing with my auntie's Barbies and stuff. They didn't say it was okay. They probably didn't know what's happening, but because they've accepted me for who I was growing up. I think in general it was family. It was my close friends that were not necessarily part of LGBT community, but they were able to support me, and I grew up in a very loving and supportive family. That made me strong, and that made me realize that yep, I am different, but I think I'd be able to do good in this world.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Madonna, I wonder for you, what's coming to mind? Somebody critical in your journey, supportive in your process?
Yes. I have to say I recently wrote a script that was very autobiographical, and one of the characters is based off of my little cousin Jackie, who is awesome and just a great friend who has walked through this queer world with me and has inspired me. And I mean, they've known me my whole life, so they knew me when I didn't really know myself. So having that person in my life who has seen my transformation is important. And my friendship and my relationship with Jackie is the model for all of my friendships now. You know, I try to find my tribe wherever I go, find the queer brown folks to help me feel seen and like I exist. So yeah, this one goes out to Jackie, my little cousin, and then, you know, as far as really coming into like my gender identity, I think it all started maybe as a kid when I was really exploring gender through theater and getting into shows like Hedwig and the Angry Inch and Rocky Horror Picture Show, and just seeing how gender could just be playful. And then that, I think once I got to Philly and started writing for drag queens, once I was welcomed by that community, I was just like, I started living that truth of gender can be fun. It doesn't need to be something that is so, to me, feels very oppressive. So I, you know, this one goes out to those queens I worked for, you know, and who read me to filth, but I still love them. I wouldn't be here without them. And even now, just in the present time, like I love my queer brown family, who have just helped me. And so, yeah.
Amazing.
One goes out to them.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Shouts out to little cousin Jackie. Yes. Thank you so much for that. And as you were talking, you made me realize, like, one of the first representations, then I'm gonna come to you, Carla. One of the first representations I saw of like gender non-binary representation was a Hawaiian comic named Rap Ripplinger. And he has this like number where he's pretending to be the kitchen in a Hawaiian hotel, like try wait, and it's just like, and the album cover, the actual vinyl is a split down the middle costume with like fabulous tights and like undercut like bikini bottom, like, and then like a crop top on one side, and then like the other side is like more dude presenting or mask presenting. And I'm not describing it. I'm not accurately describing it at all, but I want to thank you for kind of bringing in also these moments of pop culture in our lives that also help to kind of inform, and the way in which like Hedwig or Rocky Horror kind of presented these alternatives. So I just want to echo that. Thank you so much, Madonna. Carla, what about you? Someone in the journey who was helpful, supportive, critical, ally?
Yes. First and foremost, it's my mom. I think my mom was a first person to accept me. So I had two coming outs. I came out as gay, and then after a few months, I came out as a trans woman. It was difficult. I can't even accept myself that I already came out. Should I still do it? But I wasn't comfortable with, being gay, like presenting as a male figure that's attracted to, a fellow man. So I'm like, that doesn't feel right for me. So I told my mom, hey mother, here's the stitch. So I came out to her. So she was confused, but at the same time, she was asking the proper questions, like, how do you want me to help you? Do you need like clothes? Do you need makeup? And then I after a few months of there's my mom. She posted a comment. Hi, Anna. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. back in the Philippines. I love you, Mama. Yeah. After a few months of like coming out, she was already sharing her makeup with me. Um, yeah, so I think it's my mom. And then we're gonna backtrack to my childhood when I was around 7 or 8. That's when I realized that, I'm really a hardcore woman. Like this is not right, this is not so right. Um, I think my first role models would be those trans folks and gay people who were working at the hair salons back in the Philippines. I remember my mom used to take me with her when she gets her makeup and hair done. And I'll be looking at them and I always hear, people vilify them because of their, gender expression.
Mm.
But I was looking at them in a way that I want to be like them. I want to be like them, that they're able to embrace themselves unapologetically, no matter what, other people are telling them, no matter, how much people are bullying them, they are there and they're working. So yeah, I was telling myself, I want to be like them. Not so much about, the kind of job they're doing, because I'm not really particular with, doing hair and whatever. But I want to be like them, to be able to dress like that, to be able to be like that, around people, to present, the proper you. So it's my mom
Mm.
and all those childhood what do you call this? Like child memories of me like being around trans people. So that's very, cheering, at the same time scary. So yeah.
Beautiful. Love it.
I think you're on mute, Allison.
I just said the most
There you
profound
go.
thing ever. No, but I thank you, Francis. I'm trying to, drink the coffee and all the things quietly. But hearing you all talk and like hearing what you just said, Carla, I realized like there's a poem I'm trying to write about how when I was growing up, I was always clocking larger bodied butches of color and very masculine presenting, and just be like, I would always notice and I never understood why. And then like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I was like, oh, because I was finding myself. Like I was literally anywhere on the street or in community space or at church or wherever, I would find the bucha or the masculine, Pinay. And okay, so I just want to breathe in like all of the times that we have had to seek images of ourselves because it's not in media, right? And I hear we're talking about there's some more representations, how hair salons and like bakla representation and like trans women in those spaces are important to us. Hearing about cousins and family and moms, like I just want to give shouts out. Like I did not think moms were going to be the answer today on who was supportive in your journey. So shouts out to all the moms. Carla's mom, I see you are there. Thank you. Well, welcome. We're so happy you're here. And I just think about the power of community. Like when I came out to my dad, I did not think he would accept it. And he said to me, well, I had a friend who was gay, and when he told his dad that he was gay, his dad cut him off. So I'm not going to do that to you because I know that's bad. He said, but I got to think about it. And and when he said that, I was like, wait, hold on. You had a gay friend? Like what? Like who's that? So I always try to tell people like, we never know who we're affecting, who we're impacting. Who are we giving open space to just by us being us, so that someone else, like a queer baby along the road, will benefit from what we are being witnessed or who is in community with us. So I just want to say to all the allies watching, thank you. You have a vital role in our community. not to take up our space, but to just honor and support and to love on us. So I want to hold all that. Okay, so I have a question. Like, I've been hearing, you know, Francis, you said the story about bakla, and I'm always like, what's the Daiki Pinay version of that? Like, I know we have tomboy, but that doesn't feel gender expression inclusive, right? So just my other question to queer Filipinx communities is like I was in Michigan once and I was doing a show and some aunties, I was like, yeah, there's not really a word for what my identity is. So like I made up a term at one point, babae, biracial, bisexual, you know, babae, woman. And this auntie was like, well, in my province, we actually call it darlings. Like my teacher, she had a darling and we all knew that's her darling. That's actually what we would call her. And I was like, that is the best game.
Cute.
So I just offer to all the darlings out there, let us acknowledge and see the full range of expression. But it is an open question to say, like, I am always, as a poet, looking for all the words. And so I guess that just brings me to another question. We have about 15 more minutes left. So I also want to open if there's anything in particular, like if there's anything you want to say. But one of my last question right now is just like, what do you feel like we need to do next for each other? Like, I know this is not on the prep, but it's like, I want to help people understand who we are. And I want to think about, like, as you think about being in community with other queer Filipinx folks, as you think about being in community with other trans women across identity, or if you think about being in gender nonconforming or femme-identified space or gay man dad space, you know, like, what do you hope is next for us? What are you looking for, I guess, right now? Because our lives are now too. It isn't just the babies who are coming out, and it isn't just, but it's those of us who are raising literal babies. It's those of us who are still nurturing the babies inside of us. It is those of us who are building community. So as we look at this new time, it's like, you know, new, not new, because we're not really out of pandemic, but what do you feel like what is something you're looking for right now? Maybe that's a more broad question, so that I don't want you to feel like you have to have the perfect answer. I'm curious, like, in being in community with each of you, meeting you, getting to know and building with you, what do you need next in spaces? What are you looking for?
Yeah. Should I answer now, Alison?
Are you ready to answer now, Carla?
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's go Carla, Madonna, and then Francis. So we rotate. And Madonna, you get the answer of the next question. The first, I mean. Yeah.
This is what I've been telling all my friends and all my coworkers and other people, especially. Personally, let me start with what Pride is to me this year. So as a trans woman of color, an immigrant here in the US, I would say I'm very privileged to be in this position in life. I get to be the voice of those who are unheard. I get to represent all those Filipinos who are not here with us. And I have a space. I am seen and I am visible. I'm doing a legitimate, actual work for the community directly as a program manager for a nonprofit. So I think what it means to me is not to take space anymore for myself, but to hold that space for other people and those who are coming before me. Especially for the trans, gender non-conforming, gender non-binary, people of color, and all the Black brothers, sisters, and siblings that we have. I feel like I have that duty to hold a space for them, because they're the ones who are like, while we are talking about in the mainstream, there surely is a lot of like things and, you know, duties that needs to be fulfilled and done, for these people. So I think that's our next step,
Mm.
to hold the space for them and for other people so that they can thrive too. Because I'm already in this position, and I remember just a few years before, someone held the space for me too to be where I
Mm.
am today. Another
Mhm.
fellow trans Filipina.
Hmm.
I wanna mention her just because like I love her so much. Her name is Carmen. She's a lawyer in San Francisco. So she held the space for me, she connected me to people. She used that, she used herself to be an instrument to help another, trans person. And I want to be like that, to be able to pay it forward to the community. I want to be able to be that instrument to other people. So I think that's what that needs to be done next and in the future. That's it. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Yes, holding the space. Madonna, what about you? What do you think?
For me, I think it's a lot of. I just want to echo what Carla said. Honestly, I think I think those who do have the privilege, who do have the platform, should be reaching out to the people who perhaps don't have the means to be out there in the community. Like, reach out. I think it's important to almost, like the drag queens took me in, and they became my queer mentors. And I think it's important to kind of become mentors, if you can, within your community, and just shepherding these young queer babies into this world that feels good to them, and so they feel welcome. And yeah, I think it's for me, and as a writer and a TV writer, I just, I'm pushing for more representation for queer folks like us, especially people of color. So everything I do with my writing and is all for my community. I just want everyone out there to feel like they belong. And I never got to see that on TV growing up. And I only saw these, Asian chicks who were like the cool, like not even cool, like the nerdy sidekick, like I didn't see fierce, like gender non-conforming people just like taking up space. So I'm pushing more for representation in the media, and just like I said, mentorship, just like creating that family, that queer family, and bringing people in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Mentorship, queer fam, bringing people in. Yes. Francis, question to you. What do you need right now?
Yeah, we are at a great time within the LGBT and Filipino community that I feel like there's no stopping us. More and more visibility, more and more representation is coming out. So I think the next step is in the themes of what Carla and Madonna has mentioned, just pushing forward this initiative of representation and visibility. Um, SoCal Filipinos, they Jason, the founder of SoCal Filipinos, know this. I even though I'm so busy with my child, my new job, whenever he asks me anything about being on a panel, being interviewed, and not just SoCal Filipinos, with anything in my world, and my LinkedIn, I feel like everyone's like, oh, Francis is here again. Francis is part of a panel again, but it's my way of representing who I am and showcasing to everyone that I raised my hands, I became vocal, and then this is where it got me. There is always that feeling of the politeness of the Filipino. I'm gonna do such a great job, but I'm gonna be in this corner, sitting down, not making noise, because I'm just gonna do my very best and not have any kind of like people notice me. But I think now this is the next step. We pivot from that and make as much noise as we can. If you know, if you are, you know, out there with purple hair, you know, live it and showcase everyone that you have purple hair. But the thing is, you have to showcase the very best of who you are. Be authentic and showcase to the world that I'm representing the LGBT Filipino community, and this is the best self that I can present to you. So every time there's a message that, hey, I saw you on this panel, I'd love to get to know, you know, how you got there. I'm like, yes, I'll talk to you. We are thinking of foster adoption. We wanted to build a family. Can I, as a stranger, can I do a Zoom call with you so that you can run me through, you know, the process? Yes, I'll do that. So anyone listening out there, I'm I'm like on that street corner, always available. You know, talk to me, and we'll get through this together, and we'll be visible together.
Thank you. And I hear what you, Francis, and Madonna and Carla, what you're offering is like this understanding that our work is not done, this understanding that and I just appreciate that. Like before this panel, I knew Francis from Barangay Days and other LA organizing, but to hear from you, Madonna and Carla, and just to hear this echo of like part of what it means to be queer Filipinx is like this is the vibe of it. It's like we understand how hard it can be. And I do kind of feel like whenever I meet younger queer people, like I am in some kind of ate kuya context with them already, because that's just how we as Filipinos roll, you know? So I just want to say thank you to that. And, you know, a question from the chat has emerged, and Madonna, I'm going to come to you first. So we talked a little bit about like where we've been, like who's helped us, like what do we want next? But for younger queer folks, for folks who are just starting their journey in this new generation, or pretty much anybody who kind of wants to be a voice, I'm wondering, do you have a tip, or what would you recommend on how folks can get involved? Because there's a lot of different places right now where folks can engage. And I wonder, so let's go Madonna to Carla to Francis. About and you know, don't feel like you have to give them the whole book, but like one tip, two tips.
I mean, honestly, I went to this queer beach meetup that I found out about through TikTok. Get on TikTok. If you're like a younger queer baby, that is your spot. You will meet some really cool queer folks. The algorithm is good. It'll show you all the cool queer folks in your town. So TikTok.
Okay, TikTok. Carla, what do you say?
I want to clarify the question. What do I suggest to the younger ones? Is that what we're asking?
Yeah. So what do you recommend to younger ones who want to get involved or start to be like nurturing their voice? How do they start? It's kind of a how do you start question.
Oh, okay. All right. So thank you. In the age of social media, I think it becomes easier now, you know, to be able to be out there and express your opinions, your advocacy and everything. I think take advantage of that and take up the space. We need more of that and lesser fake news and bots and trolls. I think to constantly talk about it with other people. Maybe start with your inner circle, like family, if they're very supportive with it. So you know, this also goes to all the families and allies out there too, that be proactive about, you know, the advocacy. It's not only 1 month a year in June that we do have to talk about pride, rainbows, and the cutesy stuff, you know. It's a lifetime of work, you know. It's a constant battle too, I would say. Especially for allies, if you see, you know, people being bullied people being dead named or misgendered, as allies, you gotta be there, and not be complicit by being silent to the oppressor. Instead, like, to call people out. There's a way, if you're a family member to another trans woman, if you're a family member to another queer person, be there for them. Constantly tell them and reassure them that they are seen, that they are loved, and that you are a safe space for them. That way, we make these people feel, and we show these people that we see them as our equal. And I think from there on, that's how we do it. That's how we should do it. So yeah, for people, especially the younger ones, everyone has Instagram, everyone has Facebook. I think take advantage of that platform, that medium, to to talk about our daily struggle, our achievements, our everything.
And Carla, for folks who might be watching who don't know the term dead name, can you just give a little help so that people understand how to be an allyship and what we're really asking for in that
Oh yeah,
movement?
for sure. Dead naming is when you essentially don't recognize and acknowledge the other person's name. Let's say with me, I've encountered it with several healthcare institutions whenever I'm there for my checkup. I go by Carla, and I haven't really got the time and the chance to legally change my name yet. So it was still my former middle name, my given name. So it's essentially not using Carla deliberately. When I told them several times that, hey, it's Carla, and then they keep using the former name that was given to me by my parents. So I'm like, I think that's not really cool. And my husband will always tell me, like, I don't understand these people, We have these celebrities who go by screen names. And they talk about, they address this person as if, that's their actual legit name. Might do it to other people too, like, if my name is this, then you have to honor that. That's a sign of respect. Then if you can't do that, or if you can simply call the person by the name that they go by, there's something wrong with you. That's it, and that's very disrespectful. Yeah, in my opinion. So that's dead name.
Yeah, thank you so much for that context, because I know, like, in queer space, like, I know what that is, but I was like, I really want to continue supporting bridges. Yeah, so thank you, Paul.
For sure.
Last but not least, Francis, ideas, things to share if you're in the younger generation, you want to get involved. I mean, you certainly have offered some tips about what you're doing, so I appreciate that modeling. But what other another tip or advice about how people can get involved?
I am so proud of SoCal Filipinos. So I think, in the age of social media, just like Carla and Madonna has mentioned, SoCal Filipinos, we have so many members, and just having this kind of panel, creates that avenue, that opportunity for our younger queer babies to know that there is a space for them in SoCal Filipinos. So I'm calling out our allies and the members of SoCal Filipinos that, yes, please hold that space, just like what Carla has mentioned. Create that space. And for our young professionals, my advice would be, search out employee resource groups for LGBT Filipinos and make some noise. If your company doesn't have an employee resource group specific to LGBT Filipinos, make one. Ask the process and create one, and then make noise. It's all about representation, visibility, making noise. But then again, I always ask, show your best self and make sure that it's something that other people would aspire to be. And on my last note, I want to meet Carla's mom, because with all that support on the Facebook chat, I am in love with her without meeting her. So shout out to Carla's mom as well.
I love her so much.
So thank you so much, Alison.
Yay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. Can I add?
Yes.
Especially for folks who are here in
Totally.
LA
And I want
County.
to just continue.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, go ahead. Especially folks in LA
Okay, go
County.
ahead. Yeah, especially for folks here in LA County, actually, pretty much everywhere, look for nonprofits and organizations that do accept volunteers. I think that's a very good exposure. That's how I started in advocacy. Um, I think from there you will definitely, by surrounding yourself with people who have been in the advocacy work for many years, that's a very helpful way to get started. Learning the things, our language, the avenue, or how to address things and things like that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's actually, I so appreciate you said that, because I feel like based on what you all said, you've given some really great tips and some really great opportunities for people to connect. And so what I want to say is I know that I am a person who cares about being in space with people. Like, as an extrovert, I get energy from being around other people. I'm discovering what it means in this time of walking side by side, I guess you would say, with COVID and like what's happening in our world. So the thing I want to say is all of the online visibility, all the social media, I totally agree. Super, super important. Find voice, be voice, figure that out. I also want to say that there was a critical point in my own development where it was important for my queerness to stop being something I imagined or something that was only inside of me, to finally being in a place where it was like, oh, I could cry about it. Look, like in real life, there are other people just like me who are queer and Philippine X, or queer and Black, or queer, who are lesbians, who are buchas, who are like sissy girls, like all of the names that we define ourselves as, all the things we call each other, like physical people community is important. And so, and not just like hookup smash culture or like bars and all that, like everything has its place. But I guess what I want to say to young people looking to be involved is be on your journey. You are going to be on the journey you are on. And by you being you, you open up a space for someone else to be them. And there's no right way to be queer or Filipino or gay or lesbian or however you want to, however you define. But it is important to participate. Like for me, it's like, I started with that question this morning of like, what do you wish you could tell your younger self? And sometimes I have to check myself that that's not what I need to tell younger people now. I need to listen to you, young folks. I need to hear what your needs are. And I also want to say that, but it can't just be in digital spaces. Like, I'm so grateful for digital context. And as we move forward in this next period of time, how do we merge digital and physical? I think about that as an artist. I think about that as a community person. And I think about that as an elder. And so I just want to say, like without being condescending, like, babies, please don't just stay up in your room and take pretty pictures of yourself. Come be a full 360-degree person in your full, beautiful body, no matter the shape, no matter the size, no matter the color. We come in all the rainbow flavors. That is what it means to me to be Filipino. And that is actually what it means to me to be queer. We come in all the flavors all the time. Infinite, in Star Trek, we talk about infinite diversity and infinite combinations. And so I just want to share that is like, we don't even know yet the full richness of who we are because of legacies of colonialism and imperialism and homophobia and transphobia and all the that keeps us apart. So, babies, we are sending you love. Young people, we are sending you love and energy. We are here because of elders who came before, whose names we may know or we may not know. And I know I'm here. I feel like we are here for the babies we don't even know yet, right? And for some other mom who is now inspired by Carla's mom etc. Some dad who's inspired by Francis, some auntie cousin who's inspired by Madonna. You know what I mean? So I just all the feelings. All right, in this last like couple of seconds, I don't even know. Do we have time really quick, Jason, to just go around the horn? One thing you want to tell us coming up in each of your lives, like a thing to pay attention to? Do you have an event you want to promo? Yes, I'm getting a go ahead. So I'm gonna go. Let's go order of how we started. We'll come back to that now. So Carla, one thing that you're doing in this future that you want to invite people to, or for people to keep a lookout for?
Oh yes, definitely. Especially for trans folks of color, gender non-conforming and gender non-binary folks, or unemployed. Feel free to reach out to me. I am heading a lot of employment readiness workshops, and we definitely have what do you call this? We have a website, the first of its kind here in Los Angeles, headed by my office. We came up with this. It's exclusively dedicated to trans people all over. It's called transjobsla.com. Again, that's transjobsla.com. That's where you can see all trans affirming and trans inclusive employers all over Los Angeles, and we are still adding more employers to it. So if you have any questions about it, just feel free to reach out to me, Instagram, text, email, Facebook. And yeah, I would like to tell everyone too that as soon as everything opens up like properly and safely, whenever there's like a protest, especially for Pride, I hope people will take the streets, will join, the protest and the parade too. That will mean a lot to the community and to the work that we do. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Transjobsla.com. Thank you for folks who are reposting that link. Let's go, Francis. One thing coming up for you that you want to pump and share with folks to come find more about you.
Yeah. Nothing official, nothing, organization-wise like Barangay LA. But more and more as I present myself as a gay man married to another gay man, and now building a family. We went through foster adoption for 3 years. We got our 9-month-old baby 3 years ago, and we just finalized adoption last year. So we're keeping him. So with that, there's more and more questions. There's more and more, how did you guys do it? What is the process? Can you help us? So I think more and more we're pushing for that. And who knows, there might be an organization that might be coming up real soon, starting with the close group of people that we have. But just reach out, just like what Carla said, on social media. Reach out, and then I'd be more than willing to chat about our experience. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. And I'm seeing that SoCal Filipinos is going to do a panel on fostering. So that's also another way for folks to connect. So, and I think maybe you might be on this panel, Francis. I don't know.
I think I'll be getting a text from Jason real soon.
So it's the power of text organizing. I believe in it.
Yes.
Madonna, let's
Yes.
go to you. Things you want to promote, something coming up for you that you want to share with the folks in the band?
Sure. Coming up, I will be I'm teaming up with actor Riff Reyes. We have a coming out about devoted to the L word. It is a podcast called The L Word is Lumpia. It is a space for queer Asians and anyone else who's not white to come and just talk about this show that was mainly about white women. Yeah, and so that's coming up, and you can check me out on notthatmadonna.com. Follow me on the Instagram at notthatmadonna, Twitter notthatmadonna. That's all. Thank you.
I love it. And last but not least, I want to just say that if you enjoy how I hosted today, I host a regular live show. We digitally record live in front of an audience, a Star Trek podcast We're called the Trek Table. We're creating Trek space, holding Trek space for Black, Indigenous, Brown, women of color, queer, or otherwise, and our allies, to just talk about Star Trek fandom. There's a growing movement within the Star Trek fandom to create more space for people of color. Together, we're currently talking about Star Trek Discovery, which is led by an amazing Black woman, has a queer fandom on it, headed by Wilson Cruz and Anthony Rapp of Rent Fame and all those things. I just want to say, like, if you are not a Star Trek person, I invite you to start with Star Trek Discovery. Come see our podcast. You can find us on YouTube on Sundays at 4 Pacific time. And on social, we're at Trek Table on Instagram. So yes, one last thing from Francis.
I just wanted to give snaps to Alison before we end for doing such a tremendous job hosting the Pride panel for SoCal Filipinos. So I didn't want to end our panel without acknowledging Alison. Thank you so much, Alison, for getting the conversation going. I am in love with you.
Oh, thank you so much. And I want thank you. I'm practicing receiving gratitude. It's something I don't do well, so thank you. And as I close, I also just want to say thank you. Thank you, panel, for just jumping in and let me be like, hi, I'm having coffee. Can we talk about deep stuff? Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the things you're doing in the world. And I just want to echo that there is a quote from a native elder whose name I can't think of, but it's like, don't offer to help me. But if your liberation is bound up in my liberation, then we can start working together. So I just want to say thank you. I feel like my liberation is bound up in your liberation and the liberation of all peoples. And I just, last but not least, just want to send safety vibes to all the queer fam, because we are not safe all the time. So yes, I want to send spirit, safety, love to everybody. And last but not least, can we visually and Facebooky clap, say thank you to Jason Lastina and SoCal Filipinos for letting us have this Pride Convo today. Thank you, thank you. Be safe, have a great Pride, and we look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you so much, Alison. That was amazing. Thank you to all our viewers. And also, this is only the beginning of our conversations within SoCal Filipinos. There's so many more of us. So hopefully we could have another one. Well, not hopefully, we will have another one. And to our members of the community, feel free to reach out to any of us that are on the panel. I would love to start scheduling maybe some in-person get-togethers just for us together. Alison, at your house? I'm kidding.
Not at my house, but when my theater opens, heck yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do that. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We are planning some in-person meetups. Just a hint, next Navarrete and I are talking, so there might be something there. There might be something with the Dodgers. There might be something with the Snapback party. So keep an eye out. We're gonna get to hang out with everybody. What's up, Alison?
I was like, I've moved my broadcast position, but I have my Dodgers rainbow pride hat ready to go. So I want to be in the Dodger combo.
Awesome. Yeah, so stay tuned in SoCal Filipinos. Lots of things happening with upcoming panels. I mean, Francis mentioned the fostering, and we saw the statistic that if you look at the Asian population that's within Filipinos are the most that need help there. So we are putting, for adoption and fostering. So they're the biggest population of children right now. So we're doing a lot of good stuff. So online, in person. So everybody have a good afternoon and stay tuned in SoCal Filipinos. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.